So walk me through a perfect camp. You know, like I've seen so many of these embeddeds and, you know, countdowns. So is the MMA community. You know, we love what we see coming out of your gym with guys like Marab and other things you've done. But with Khalil Rountree, for example, talk to me. How do you put together the perfect camp? What does a camp look like? And then Khalil, I kind of want to hear from you too about what you do as a fighter to try to find things in that camp to get better at.
Cool. So one thing we're trying to do at Syndicate is kind of take the guesswork out for the fighters. You know, we've built a coaching staff. I've hired a lot of really good coaches over the last year to be able to handle everybody. We want everybody to make sure they have their attention. You know, hire a manager. My wife helps. My assistant Emily helps in the process of all of these things, of really taking the guesswork out of the fighters. So when a fighter gets a camp, we sit down and we have a coaches meeting, a camp meeting. We set up, hey, this is what your times, your schedules, all these things are. We start to
you
look
give
at
the fighters the times that they're going to be training every day.
So what time works for you? When do you want to meet? What's the schedule? What's the session? You know, because a lot of these guys have S&C, they have other things, they have, you know, other stuff they have to do. So we try to mold to what it is best for them, what we can do around the schedule. We set up their sparring times, their cage times. So everybody now, one thing we've done over the last couple of years is we set to where you have a cage time. So you're going to get your 30 minutes in the cage being coached by the camps, by the coaches that are going to be in their corner, so that you get the feel of the camp. It's just different than if you're out and, you know, on the mat just sparring in an open, or you're getting only a round or two. Getting that time, we come in between rounds, coach you just like we would coach you in a fight. So everything that you've heard when you're in the fight, you've already heard it 1,000 times. We've already worked over it. We've already been there before. Wow. We already make sure that it feels as comfortable as possible. You know, we run it just like we do. We want our, you know, the pad work and the training to be the same as the sparring to be as close to the fight as possible. So we take all the guesswork out, we set all that up. We make sure that we're, you know, watching tape, doing everything. Like I said, some of the fighters like to sit down and watch tape more. You know, we'll go over, like, he'll send me through camps. Hey, you know, I got this video, or I think this, or I saw this, and we'll kind of kick things back and forth. and it shifts through camp, but just making sure that we're hitting the process. We have a MMA practice every day at 11:30. So some of the guys, they come in and they hit certain practices. We have our sparring days, but we just set everything up to where it's really no thinking process for these guys, you know, trying to be just more professional, like every team, like an NFL team. You have, you know, the head coach, assistant coach, quarterback coach, you know, offensive, defensive line. We're trying to work it to where these guys don't have to think so much. It's just show up, tell me what to do, you know, and obviously through camps, we try to get the sparring partners as close as perfect, you know, but I'm also, again, with that, I don't like hey, we have to find the sparring partner, the perfect guy, because how many times we've had so many opponents switch. So you do 10 weeks with the perfect partner. Oh shit, we're fighting a lefty now. Yeah. So I always like to keep everything in there, get some rounds with these guys. Hey, we don't know if this guy, the thing is too, is that I'm intending every guy we fought, that we're going to fight, is getting better. They're trying to fix their weaknesses. Switching stances, doing these things. So you don't know. That's such a good point. You don't know what you're going to get out there, so you have to be ready for that. I don't want to be going out there and have any surprises.
I want to ask you about that real quick, because everybody always talks about that. Oh my God, I'm getting ready for a fight. This guy's southpaw. I'm going to fight, and I'm going to switch my stance. You know, TJ always talks about how when he was training, he always trained both stances. Mm-hmm. He always fought and anticipated the guy being able to fight both ways. Do you look at every camp that way? Like, are you always mixing in guys so that way he's never fighting a traditional orthodox? He's bringing in southpaw guys on purpose?
Absolutely. Wow. I think that I never try to overemphasize, oh my God, he's southpaw. Like, it's different in boxing to me. I have a different stance on southpaw to orthodox than in MMA. MMA, there's so much movement, so much chaotic craziness. There are some things, obviously, that you have to watch out for. There's things that you have to account for. But people switch so much. People, in injury, you might have to switch. I make my guys, when they shadow box, just even the warm-up, switch stances, and everybody has to work from from different stances, just so you get used to it, because you never know. Someone kicks us in the calf and then you have to switch. So we try to adjust for everything across the board. And that's the crazy thing about MMA, is there's so much different stuff. You're not getting one style. So you have to look for everything. And I try to never have that perfect thing, that perfect partner, the perfect this, the perfect that, because that does not exist in fights. Yeah. Very seldomly. And sometimes you go, oh, That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but I'll tell you what, the other guy wasn't intending that to happen, you know, and that was not perfect for him. So there's always something that goes bad. You just have to try to figure out where the middle ground is.
Yeah.
And Khalil, you kind of want to talk about that for camps? Walk me through what you look at, like specifically between putting together a camp for a fight, like even for Yuri, for example. What do you look for in that camp? What are you looking to do? Is there specific things you're looking to kind of grow at, or are you just going through the motions?
Yeah, and definitely not going through the motions. No matter what, I know that when it's camp time, especially like as soon as I get word on who the opponent is, I send it over to John, and we immediately, you know, get the fire under the bowl and you know, and get it brewing. And then one of the things that John mentioned that I feel like has been one of the biggest, like how do I say it? Like the biggest benefit or just like a good thing that's been added into Syndicate are these cage rounds that we do, because man, I have these fights, you know, a million times before fight night, because we're doing specific things in the cage, you know, getting the coaching from my corners over and over again on what we're working on in these MMA classes or in our pad sessions. So, you know, twice a week, I'm doing my fight simulation 25 minutes to work on the game plan. So it's not just like we're just coming up with a game plan and hoping that it comes to fruition on fight night. It's like, no, I'm doing this multiple times a week to make sure that when I show up on fight night that it works.